Thank you. There is nothing like the electricity of human energy that electrifies the whole world. And that is why I always start by breaking the ice with not just the conventional greeting of good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, but great. Indeed, this is a great topic that has been placed before this workshop. And it is my great pleasure in inaugurating it and to deliver the keynote address on Make in India and transform your dream into action. It is said that if you don't have your own dream, you will soon be working for those who want to realize their dream. And since this university's primary motto is not to produce job seekers, but job creators, each of one should be a dreamer come doer. It's not enough to be just a dreamer, but you've got to also be a doer. As I look back, I have discovered part of the technology of human achievement. There is a technology involved in human achievement. We never talk about human achievement in terms of technology. But yes, there is a software, a technology of human achievement. The first phase of dream creation is ignition. Ignition. Our minds need to be ignited with power. And how does it happen? You've got to be completely obsessed with an idea, obsessed with a dream. And every part of you should be completely focused on that dream. When that happens, all your powers and faculties are awakened. It is like the runner who is planning to compete in the Olympics for 4 years. All his energies, all his passion, every waking moment, and even when he is sleeping, his dreams, his subconscious are focused on the gold, getting the gold on the podium. And this is what led me to create this concept called Excenomics. EXCE is the root of excellence. The ultimate purpose of studying any discipline is excellence. But ironically and unfortunately for humanity, in time and space, in no country, in no university, you have a subject to study excellence in all its dimensions. It is the missing jigsaw in the puzzle of education and of life, that we do not have a subject that leads to constant human improvement. The ultimate purpose why you are studying engineering or medicine or dentistry or you name it is not to get a job. It's not to get an income. It's not even to feed yourself and keep your body and soul together. That is the minimum that will happen incidentally. But the ultimate purpose is your personal improvement. So to dream of Make in India, you got to first dream for yourself. You got to dream, what is my goal in life? What is my purpose in life? And when you continually think on that and you keep on dreaming, you will one day, in one particular golden moment, you will have intuitively discovered the purpose of your life. And then your entire energy, your talents, your abilities should be focused on that goal, and that is your dream. So after ignition comes cognition. Cognition means conscious efforts. Conscious efforts, diligent efforts, persistent efforts. And despite conscious efforts, diligent and determined efforts, we all experience repeated failures. And despite that failure, you got to learn from the failure. Every innovator, every entrepreneur, every startup experiences different types of risks, as I will show you in the case study of Steve Jobs in the latter part of this presentation, of how much he risked right from the beginning and what are the challenges he faced. And therefore, first concept is ignition, next is cognition, and then when you learn from failure, that is called recognition, re-cognition. That means you reboot your engine and you restart with the new lessons learned from your previous efforts, which did not achieve its target. When you keep doing this, ultimately it will lead to recognition. But there is one process that accompanies all these three stages that is not there in any book, but I have brought it in because it is very real to life. It is called metacognition. What is metacognition? It is beyond our senses. It is in the realm of the spiritual, where every stage you got to pray. Ultimately, who has made you? If you are to make in India, you have to recognize that someone has made you. Someone has made India too. Who is that maker? You got to discover that maker in you. Good. India is meant for all Indians, regardless of your color, regardless of your gender, regardless of your racial origin, your ethnic origin, regardless of the region to which you belong, regardless of your income or talent, regardless of your religious persuasion, regardless of your profession. India is meant for all Indians. India is a huge concept, and we need to first understand the concept of India before you can make in India. You got to make India before you can make in India. This is a message that needs to reach all Indians. You got to make India in your mind. India is not just that map of territory, but India is you and me. We need to help each other develop our country to its highest, to eliminate hunger and poverty in this land, this great land, this historic land with rich heritage. And for that we need to dream together. I told you earlier, you need to have dreams for yourself. But next stage is you got to dream for the country. You got to have a dream of what my India should be. And that work towards realizing that dream. As Abdul Kalam said, the dream is not what you see when you're sleeping, but what keeps you from sleeping. So that kind of passion will enable you to always be on the right side and never act in a way which will bring down the image of the country in anything you think, speak or do. This is Make India. Once you have made India, then you can make in India. Everyone is free to bloom and reach his or her highest potential by using his talents, his knowledge, his ability, tapping into the technology of human accomplishment, which means these three stages along with metacognition. Of ignition, cognition, recognition. And ultimately you will get recognition. Recognition means rewards. Rewards not just in monetary terms, in terms of salary, or in terms of titles, or positions, or honor. But it means you will have a sense that I have done my greatest, my best, for the highest. So with this background, let me now take you through this case study of a man called Steve Jobs. These are leadership and management lessons drawn from his life. That Steve Jobs, as a young man, as he began to innovate and dream of new technology, a new type of computer, which could be so technologically smart and user-friendly. And so his first principle was, I risk. Every one of you, if you are a dreamer and a doer, you need to be willing to take risks. As a young police officer, I said, what change can I bring to this huge police force? 1.2 million people guarding 1.2 billion people, 1,000 times more. How can one policeman guard 1,000 people? How can they secure them? I said it is impossible, so I dreamt of a concept. And that concept is Friends of Police. How many of you have heard of Friends of Police? So every audience, there will be at least a few who have heard of it. But all of you need to be Friends of Police. If you are law-abiding, if you are progressive, if you are a dreamer and a doer, you are automatically a friend of police. You don't even have to register. All these other things are formalities. Getting ID card, all that is formality. Mainly you should have the concept in your mind. What is going to benefit you is not what you carry in your wallet, but what you carry in your mind. What are the concepts you are carrying in your mind which empower you, which equip you, which enable you to take risks? Steve Jobs had that kind of inner power potential. PPP I call, person power potential. And he wanted to change the world of technology. And therefore, he continually took risks all through his career. And innovation is what distinguishes a leader and a follower. Peter Drucker, the father of management, he said, innovate or perish. But in my experience of innovation in the last 30 years in the police, I have modified it with a bit of sarcasm. Innovate and perish. If you innovate, you will be made to perish in India. You know that whole crab story. None of you should behave like that. When one crab tries to get out, all the Indian crabs pull the crab back. You stay at my level. Don't move up. While the Japanese crabs, the American crabs, the European crabs, you name it, they're all giving a hand for the crabs to go out of the shoebox. Help somebody get out of the shoebox. That is your concept of India. Your concept of India should be to encourage every Indian to do better than you. Don't feel envious or insecure or jealous and try to pull them down. Instead, to the extent you can, lend them a shoulder, lend them a hand to move up, to move forward. In the process, you will also be benefited. Why do I teach such a large number of people all through my career? It is not my professional job as a police officer. But it is because the more I help people achieve their goals, the more I will achieve my own goals. In the process of studying excellence, right from my childhood, I was just a mediocrity when I was a student. I had never stood first in a single class in school. But when I came to the +2, I said, I'm going to take the art subjects or humanities and I want to excel and I will get one of the top 10 ranks. I did a lot of metacognition. The dream had ignited my mind. I got new methods of study which are unique to me, of dividing the subject into tiny bits and revising over and over again by writing it in small notes. This is a unique method which has helped a lot of people. A continual reinforcement method of study. And lo and behold, within less than 1 year, my parents got phone calls saying, your son has stood first in the state of Karnataka. Glory be to God. And they wanted my interview on radio. There was no television at the time in Bangalore, or it was very limited. And the photos appeared in all the papers and interviews. So recognition is at the end of the process. But before that, you have to burn the candle at both ends. You need to dream and then do. You got to put in all your heart and soul and mind and body into what you have focused on. That's what Steve Jobs did. And that's why probably he burned him out right into his pancreas. So here you see, he had come out with a completely new motherboard. And he presented it to the distributor. So he faced resistance. Always when there is change, there is resistance. So you can expect that. Soon after I created this Friends of Police concept in the police force, I sent it out to community policing leaders around the world. And I said that you are free to disseminate this concept in any fora. At that time I did not hear of the internet. But without my knowledge, internet had come into being. And it is planted on the internet as an international blueprint for community policing. Same thing in this case, Steve Jobs, he had created a revolution in computer technology. And even after the distributor resisted his offer, he is able to overcome it by his quiet ways of persuasion. Your belief in your product, that is important. Your belief in yourself, that's what stands out. And even at the end of the conversation, you notice he's saying, you'll be interested in my next product. He has not even thought of it, but he is already on that track. And he's saying my next product would be even better. So excellence is about continual betterment, improvement of people, of products, of processes. Next. I pay. So this is the famous aphorism of Steve Jobs. Stay hungry. Hungry not in terms of food, but hungry for innovation, hungry for knowledge, hungry for wisdom, hungry for excellence. And you may appear foolish when you're doing new things. See, when long back on a particular Japanese island, the monkeys were always eating the sweet potato full of mud. They used to dig it out and then they used to chew on this mud-covered, filthy sweet potato. Naturally, sweet potato will not be sweet. And that's what they were doing for many generations. But one particular day, two youngsters, they were fighting over sharing as one sweet potato which they had dug up. And one fellow was running, the other chap ran after. He fell in a stream, and at the other end of the shore they somehow reached an agreement and they divided the sweet potato, which by this time had been partially washed in the stream of water. And when they bit it for the first time in their lives, they found sweet potato is sweet. When they went back to the rest of the monkeys and told them, the older monkeys, that the sweet potato, when you do this, keep falling in water, it will get sweet. They said, no, it cannot happen. In all our life, nothing like this is known. Sweet potato always tastes like this. And just by falling in water, it's not going to taste any different. No, none of them believed. But hearing the conviction, that is the power of the sword, in that young monkey's voices, one senior monkey decided to do the experiment in the dark. He also just stumbled in the water a few times with some sweet potato, and he ate it, and he found, lo and behold, eureka, this is sweet, really sweet potato. It's completely different experience. That's what Steve Jobs had done. Now he went back to the senior monkeys, because he's a senior monkey, already conditioned and who was respected. The other monkeys also tried it and they found it was sweet. But on one island, that time there was no internet. There was no social media, Facebook. Have you seen any monkeys on Facebook? Lots of monkeys on Facebook. They just imitate, ape each other. So do things creative, don't ape, don't merely imitate. And finally, anyway, without any communication, monkeys all over the world started doing the same thing. They washed sweet potato before eating it, and they found it is really a completely different experience. So that is the pain of resistance, pain of overcoming challenges and difficulties. He is taken out of his own project, the PC, the personal computer, which is revolutionary. So you will always face obstacles. So as I told you, it is not the reward at the end. The reward is in facing up to difficulties, challenges, risks, problems. So you see, he now finds a new obstacle, that Microsoft has stolen his software. And you see the frustration he goes through. So when you are a dreamer, there will be stages where you've got to face this kind of frustration. Thing can be summed up in just two phrases that I have invented: be at it, beat it. In order to be a dreamer and a doer, you need to have a thought process. Steve Jobs had that thought process without, knowing what is the thought process. I have just discovered it and made it in an easy form. Be at it. All of you repeat after me: be at it. Be at it. Be at it. And the other part of this binary software is beat it. All of you repeat: beat it. Beat it. Be at it. Beat it. Beat it. So this concept is a new concept that I created, which is called EQ thinking. Or some of you don't accept these ideas. You must be willing to say yes, no, I am no. So yes, no technology, this switch technology is happening in the human brain all the time. Whether it's writing a poem, a book, whether it's taking a decision about investment, whether it is a manufacturing process, yes, no is happening all the time. So you've got to reinforce all the yeses and you've got to overcome the no's. This is success. At a particular point, as you keep on repeating this process, you have the breakthrough. You'll have many no's like this: I risk, I fight, I pain again. But at every stage, this thought process will reinforce you, and it is like working out in a gym. Since the last 1 week, I have got a physical trainer, so that if I can't develop a 6-pack, at least I develop a 3-pack. The world's first 3-pack. So it involves a lot of pain. Last 2 days, I couldn't move both these hands, because all these bicep muscles were severely paining. And I was getting worried yesterday, and the trainer said, "Don't worry, sir, this is a good sign. It just shows that the muscles are further developing." By evening, it had stretched and got released. That's breakthrough. So you got to go through pain in order to have a breakthrough. No pain, no gain. You will remain only a dreamer. Indians are very good dreamers, very poor doers. So to make in India, we got to turn into a nation of dreamer doers. And for that, the mantra is, be at it, beat it. You can visit the website eqthinking.com. My dream is to teach 1 billion people this, so that India will get rid of this kill innovation attitude. You want to kill improvement, kill innovation. If it comes from you, you will support it. It comes from somebody else, kill it. This is the attitude in academics. In every university, this is the kind of attitude. Insecurity when they face any talent better than theirs. Insecurity when you face in excellence. You see the insecurity of the shareholders, the board of managers, directors. They wanted to throw him out because he said he is great, but he's like a time bomb. He can explode any time. And therefore we need to, capitalize on the huge dividend, demographic dividend as mentioned by your dean. Very nicely explained the dividend, the demographic dividend. India's young population is the dream of any nation. And this is the time when education can play the role to turn liabilities into assets. If you go out of this university just feeding on pornography or just waiting to get tickets for Kabali, how many of you are waiting for tickets for Kabali? You think that is the #1 most important thing in life? Okay, see it. Even my daughter's boss said, "You get me 10 tickets. I tried, didn't get it till now." But today they're promising. You may see it just for fun, but don't take it too seriously. None of the actors on the screen take it so seriously. Why are you taking it seriously? Losing your lives, your energy over it? There's a difference between screen and reality. Real life and real life. And if you practice this concept of EQ thinking, you can be at it, beat it. Beat these illusions. Dream is not illusion. Dream is not chasing mirages in the desert. India will continue to be a desert of poverty in that case. If you got to turn India green, if you got to turn India into one of the greatest nations in history, each one of us should become a dreamer doer. And we should be able to discriminate between dreams, illusions and mirages. We got to go through the process and not short-circuit it of ignition, recognition, cognition and metacognition. These are the 4 stages. Dreaming, choosing your purpose, working hard, doing due diligence, doing your utmost for the highest. That is cognition. Learning from lessons from failures, shortcomings, drawbacks. When you've fallen short of goals and targets, overcoming resistance, challenges, problems. And finally you have breakthrough. But don't stop with one breakthrough. You see, when you had a breakthrough, you could have said, with the first motherboard he created, you could have stopped. The next slide, for want of time, I'm not going. The next one, he says, looking at the next one. That's why he went on from PC to something which nobody else had thought of. And what is that? The iPad. The iPad, the iPod and all that. So all these things, do they change life? Does technology change life? There's all better technology we are all having. How many of you have iPads, iPods and all this? Has it changed your life? Let him raise his hand. Why you are making him put his hand down? This is called the crab behavior. Why you are raising your hand when my hand is not going up? So don't keep up with the Joneses. Get ahead of people. Don't try to stay at the same level as your peer group. This peer pressure to conform in schools, colleges. Intense competition behind the scenes. But in terms of behavior conformity, you learn to transform yourself from within. That is the ultimate dream. And then India will be truly a transformed nation. I expect that by the end of my lifetime, which I expect is going to be long, in 30, 35, 40 years from now, that some of you will come to me and say, on that day, my mind was ignited and I began to focus all my passions and abilities on my dream. And I hope to see India really fulfilling those lines that I wrote as a student some 40 years ago. Nandri, Vanakkam, thank you.